Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 904 for the 15th of August. For all the Ukraine situation report, all the SITREP for the Ukraine war, or the special military operation in Ukraine, if you are pro-Russia. And to the pro-Russians, no, there's no war, no, this is just some no terrorist operation. Even the KURSK offensive is to them is just a terrorist incursion. So it's ridiculous. Anyway, so we going to start off with from the KURSK offensive. We're going to do some brief update, the detailed one, the detailed with analysis. You can check out the KURSK update that I published 18 hours ago, 18 hours ago, as per this recording, and then we will go clockwise, all the way to the Kherson front. We're gonna go into the Kursk situation. In the Kursk offensive, the Ukrainians continue their offensive. They are not giving up. They are doubling down. Despite that, it seems like the progress have been a lot slower. Because the Russians have starting the reinforcements seems to be arriving, and the established lines seems to be clearer, and the defense line seems to be pretty much established. All the Ukrainians have advanced to the point where they finally met the Russian defense line. So over at this western sector, at the western sector, the Ukrainian forces okay, I have to go below the southern part of the western sector. Let me mute my WhatsApp. So Russian forces allegedly is attacking Ukrainian forces in the area of Uspenovka, and the Ukrainian forces have successfully taken this area called the Venezapnoye. I actually tried to go to Google Translate and try to figure out what's the actual pronunciation. Is Venezapnoye, and because this settlement, the Viktorovka is basically they are like a twin village. So Venezapnoye is now both under Ukrainian control. Ukrainians have taken this, and this also corroborates the DPA has actually have the same analysis as DPA, that the Ukrainian forces came from the east instead of going through Godievka. So this is confirmed. Let me close the Steam again. So so this is the thing. This is the latest. And then further up north in the eastern front, the Russian forces are counter-attacking the area of Snagos. There's some probability that the Ukrainians may have retaken Snagos. Not sure, but the Ukrainians actually continued to incursion over in the Krasno-Oktobersky region. There's a shelling. Okay, let me go on the front line first. Fighting reported at Vetreno as well as in Medvedevka. So Ukrainian forces are swinging up north instead of heading to the north of Korenevo. So the Russian forces are also counter-attacking this area at Ogovka as well as Medvedevka. So this is the current situation. As you can see that the Russians seems to be having a much more stronger line around here. It looks like the Ukrainian incursion towards Topino has failed. Even this force here may not necessarily be there anymore. So we just have to take this with a pinch of salt right now. So this front line is pretty firm. But the Ukrainians, of course, have broke through in the south. So we shall see how this goes. There's a Ukrainian HIMARS strike on the bridge over at Glushkovo, but it didn't destroy the bridge. Over at the northern sector, Ukrainian forces continue to try to break through in this area. Let me go. Let's do here first. Ukrainian forces are hitting the strong Russian line, the northern line here, with fighting reported at Alexievki. So apparently, I went to find out the pronunciation is actually it's just CFK. There's nothing special about it. So a lot of E, a lot of I, but actually doesn't matter. So Kauchuk over at this area called Sheptukovka, Vavarovka, as well as Safanovka. So over at Safanovka, the Ukrainians try to blitz past Safanovka on the main road, and then they got ambushed and then got destroyed by the Russian forces, and it was geolocated a lot in the drone footage. A lot of damaged vehicles. One of them even crashed into the drain, and it looks like the Ukrainians just cannot break through. The reason why for this this blitz or this rush, they try to drive quickly past and are caught in the ambush is because they are trying to do a flanking movement to the rear position or go around this Russian firm line, because it is believed by them probably that the Russians have a very firm line around here. The Ukrainians are unable to break through, so they're trying to flank it and hit the rear or actually go deeper. Unfortunately, that ambush was waiting for them at Safonovka, and that basically ends that adventure. So the Ukrainians have not exactly broke through this line, and I forgot how to pronounce this. Obish Kolodis remains to be like the furthest point that they have went is basically all around this region. They didn't manage to go further, so this is as far as they go. Over in this region, there is a geolocation of a Challenger tank getting destroyed by a Lancet. So the fact that the Lancet, the Challenger tank has arrived, and also that the report I will show you also that Bradley's is also here in the Kursk offensive, suggests that the first group of reserve may have entered the war, entered the battle. So south of the northernmost sector at Kremyanoe, the Ukrainian forces continue to try to attack and take this position. However, Kremyanoe seems to be like a very strong position for the Russians. The Ukrainians just cannot break through this area. So we can kind of see that the line here is pretty established right now from Snagos all the way to Karenevo, to Ogovka. So over maybe around here, Kremyanoe, Kuzravle, and then this is pretty much the line, and then another line is around here. So this is the front line right now, and the Ukrainians pretty much have stuck here for at least 3 days already. So this is something very, very interesting. No fighting reported at the Malaya Lognia region. Very interesting. No, how come there's no report over there? There's some probably shelling or Russian attack over at Yuzhny, but that's about it. Over in the Sudzha region, at the Sudzha region, the Russians shelled Zoloshenka, and Ukrainian forces continue to try to attack Matinovka, but it did not work out. The fighting is now reported at Agronom, as well as Ruskaya Konopelka, as the Ukrainians have captured Bondarevka, correct? Bondarevka. So they are also, this is confirmed by geolocation. Ukrainian forces are geolocated in Mykolaievka, and this confirmed Ukrainians have firm control over this region. However, Russians have firm control over Matanovka. They have a position in Agronom, in Mitriovkov, as well as Ruskaya Konopelka. So this is a few locations that the Russians have positions. Ukrainians are trying to break through, and so despite the announcement from the Ukrainian side about the firm capture of Sudzha, this is still pretty much talking about the northern, central, and the western part of Sudzha. The eastern part and the eastern outskirts is pretty much still the front line. So to say a firm capture, no, yeah, you can argue about it, no, but it can be yes and no at the same time. So an interesting thing about this region also that there's media presence in Sudzha, as I mentioned. The footages are all mostly in the western and central part of Sudzha. There's nothing from the eastern part, because the eastern part is the front line. So this basically more or less confirms it. So that's it from the Sudzha sector. Over at the southern sector, Russian forces is on the counter-offensive in this area here. Fighting was somewhat reported over at Kamishnoye, but it is a bit weird. So doesn't make sense, because this is behind. Raiba Road, fighting is now ongoing. A few kilometers to the east, where the fighting is now ongoing in Kamishnoye, which is weird. I'm not sure if there's some typo or whatever. So Russian forces have announced the recapture of Krupets, and fighting is now, after the clearing of Giri, Krupets, now they are going to Spanoe. So the Ukrainian forces previously have announced to have to be captured Spanoe on the 12th. So the fighting is now returning to the Ukrainians. Ukrainians, however, are trying to attack Boki. Boki is still under Russian control. The Ukrainians have tried to attack Boki quite a number of times, but they never captured it. So I think someone around here is gonna get some kind of medal or whatnot, because this area looks a bit secluded and isolated, and they managed to hold the line. So that's a bit interesting to me. And other than that, there is some shelling reports from the Russian Defense Ministry, and basically suggest that the Ukrainian forces have some forces over in the southwest of a Godievka region. May suggest the Ukrainians may attack from Godievka from this direction, or maybe fight from another direction. Also, there is shelling reported at Yonakivka. This is probably some reserve that is allowing them to reinforce further. So anyway, this is pretty much the KURSK update. Over in the south of the main offensive, the Ukrainians tried to attack Kolotilovka again. Still did not break through. The Ukrainian forces tried to attack. This time around, I believe it's infantry. They managed to hold the checkpoint for a little while, and then the Russians counter-attacked and retook the position. So, Kolotilovka is, yeah, I'm not sure why so obsessed in that location, but it is what it is. We move into the Kharkiv front. At the Kharkiv front, over the Lipsy sector, Russian forces continue to attack at Lipsy. Russian forces geolocated at where the front line was previously marked in the frontline changes report, so confirming Russian presence in the western part of Klipoke, as they are now just on the outskirts of the Dacha region around here. For those that do not know what is a Dacha, is actually a summer house. So apparently, the Russians have this culture, which basically I think no other culture, no other countries have, is that they have a summer house. So they basically go to their summer house or go to their holiday house. Maybe they go in winter. I don't know. Actually, not sure. It's like they are their own holiday chalet. And yeah, they have their own gardens and everything. Or maybe the old people live there. I don't know. I find it amazing. I saw some videos of it, and I find it really charming. Yeah, but no, I'm a city boy, so what do I know? The Russian forces attacked as Staritsia, Voschansk, as well as Taike. So the Russians continue to put a lot of pressure on the Kharkiv front, and apparently it was actually going quiet. It is the KURSK offensive that caused the Kharkiv front to become more activated again. So let's hope the Ukrainians do not regret. Over at the Kupiansk front. At the Kupiansk front, Russian forces attack at Sinkivka. So while this is nothing much special, over at the Bischane region, something is brewing. Russian forces have captured the entire entrenchment north of Bischane, and they have taken the entirety of this area here. As you can see, based on the previous entrenchment mapping by someone else, this entire area is pretty undefended. There is just some very sparse tree lines and mostly farming regions. The Russian forces is going to have a field day if they really push. So but the attack was reported over towards Khrushchevka as well as towards Krylyakivka. At Berestove, there is fighting reported in this area as well. So we shall continue to monitor and see whether the Pischane will become some kind of a poison pill for the Ukrainians in this sector, of the front line. Because this is, if the Russians continue to break towards the Oskil front and cut this into two, the Ukrainian logistics is going to be one hell of a mess. So let's go on. Over at the Svetove front, we have fighting reported in the Stemakivka region as well as Andriivka region. So that's about it. Nothing much to really talk about this. Over in the Crimea front, in the northern part of the Crimea front, Russian forces attack at Makievka and Nevsky. I should just zoom out. Makievka, Nevsky, Terny, Torsk, as well as Dibrova. It's all Russian attacks. If you're gonna, for those that have been watching the SITREP, you probably notice basically all of the Ukrainian front line within Ukraine is almost always the Russians attacking now. for like quite some time already. So this is also indicative, a signal of what's currently happening in the front line, where the Ukrainians are entirely on the back foot. So the correct pronunciation is Kursk. The Kursk offensive, of course, come as a very no surprise, even to the Ukrainian supporters. But of course, now they have totally buy into it. They totally supporting it, totally celebrating, popping champagnes, drinking the blood of the Ukrainian soldiers, for happiness. So yeah, but happy can already. No, it's okay. So geolocation at Torske of Russian artillery shelling on Ukrainian positions. And that's about it over in Crimea. Over in the Siversk front, the Russian forces continued their Siversk offensive, with fighting reported at Verkhan-Otkanyamsky, Spurny, Vimka, as well as Brezhny. So so this area continues to be under pressure by the Russians, and the fact that I believe this is a proper offensive, or a rather medium-sized offensive. There's no frontline changes, seems to be a little bit dubious. So we're definitely gonna have to wait for some intel drop from this area here. Over at the Bakhmut front, fighting reported over at Chasivya as well as towards Tuposhki. So I don't believe this. This is very skirmishy, so no, I don't think there is a proper offensive. Don't worry about it. So nothing particularly important over at Bakhmut. Over at the New York front, at the New York front, Russian forces continued in the Torex sector to be fighting in the Pivnishny, over towards Torex, as well as in the Zalizny region, with the pro-Russian source Ryba announcing the capture of Zalizny. So this is getting pretty serious. We shall see how this goes. There is certain information. Some they suggest that the Pivnishny has been fully captured by the Russian forces. I think it might be a miss. I don't know. If they don't think this is part of Pivnishny, then yeah, then Pivnishny is fully captured. But if they believe this is Pivnishny, then it's not captured. Geolocation of Russian forces within Pivnishny, not important. So over at the New York front, at the New York sector of the New York front, the Russian forces continue to fight in the area of New York towards Sukhalbalka and Pentelemenivka. So apparently, I always pronounce this as Sukhalbalka. Apparently, the pronunciation is Sukhalbalka. So Sukhalbalka. Yeah, whatever. So, and again, we have fighting reported at Nelipivka, and I believe it's coming from New York. I still not sure, because there's no mapping suggesting that it's coming from Zalizny. So we will have to continue to wait to see how this develop. But yeah, the fact that fighting is reported at Nelipivka, just shows you, the gravity of the situation over in the New York sector of the New York front. Over at the northern sectors of the FK front, Russian forces are fighting in the region of Kalinove and Vodzenka. Vodzenka. Yeah, Vodzenka. So there is also fighting reported towards Zelenopole. So the Russian forces are pushing, but so far the reports of fighting around this area never result in any frontline change. So I don't think this is anything serious. Over at the rhino, the metal rhino, now has stuck out his tongue. So the metal rhino area, which is the Pokrovsk sector of the DFK front, Russian forces are attacking in the area of Novotoretsky. The Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture of Ivanovka. Russian forces attacking Horodivka, Zuravka, Novohorodivka, and towards Zelany, and also towards Mykolaievka. So this is this now it looks like some monster. Okay, yeah, it's like, ta-da. Okay, so and this the Russians are just pushing in all directions, fighting the so of significance. Novotoretsk is a crossing, so this allows the Russian forces to cross over this river of Zeleny Torres, and then they can actually break towards the highway and break the highway. So that's actually significant. Over at Horodivka, at Horodivka, the Russian fought this battle of Horodivka, the first boss towards Pokrovsk, so very significant as well. And the Russian forces is now already attacking in the outskirts of Horodivka, and Mykolaiv has been captured according to Ryba, and based on the geolocation, I've decided to declare the capture confirmed. We do not know the mapping yet, so we shall wait and see. And Russian forces have already now attacking towards Novozelane as well as towards Pitishe and Skushne, and so the Russians are just pushing everywhere, and it feels almost like the Ukrainian defense around here is just very, very weak. So we shall see how this developed. Over in the southern part, we have fighting reported at Kharkivka as well. So but Kharkivka is nothing. They can't break through the isthmus around here. The Russian forces can't break there. So yeah, that is what it is. Over at the Battle of Krasnohorivka, the Russian forces are attacking into the western part, the western chopstick of the Krasnohorivka. So for those who don't know the chopstick, there is two chopsticks. This is one chopstick. This is the two chopstick. So there's two chopsticks around here, and this the chopstick of Krasnohorivka, and the Russian forces are attacking towards the southern chopstick. So this is the current direction that they have chosen, and fighting is reported over in Hyohivka as well as Boyeda in the Marinka sector. No more voice. And nothing special about this. Fighting is reported at Paraskovievka as well as Konstantinivka. Yeah, and so that's usual. This of significance is the Battle of Konstantinivka. This is currently the major battle, with the Russian forces continue to push towards the center part of Konstantinivka, and this with the battle raging around here, the highway also cannot be used, and of course the Russians have already have a fire control over part of the roads, so the highway is already gone. With the Ukrainians now have to go the longer route in terms of reinforcement and resupply. So, and over at the Voleda region, Russian forces allegedly attacking Ukrainian forces in the region of Mikhailsky as well as towards Vodiane. So that's all from this region in the Vodiane in Voleda region. We move along the line. There is fighting reported in Prishativka. No, nothing much about this. I don't think we have always reported fighting in the Zelitaneva and Prishativka region, but no, nothing come out of it. Over at the Velikanova Circle sector, we have something new. Over at Vrisnopil, there is fighting reported in this region. The last time fighting over here was reported half a month ago. So we shall see whether this developed into anything. Maybe it's just nothing. No, it just be like just some fire support. It's reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. We move into the Zaporizhia front. At the Zaporizhia front, over at the Orikhiv sector, Russian forces continue to attack towards Malatomashka as well as Novodanilivka. So this pincer continues to you can call it a pincer, but it feels a bit weird. But yeah, it's still ongoing. Russian forces continue to make some pressure around there. We move into the Kherson front. At the Kherson front, at the Kherson, they need some Lvov. Some shelling reported at Lvov, as well as the Ukrainian Defense Ministry continues to report about Russians attacking towards the Dnipropetrovsk direction. So they keep saying about that, but no, we have no mapping, no reports, no nothing. So I don't really know what the hell is happening over there. So that's about it. I make some effort to learn how to pronounce the Russian words or the Ukrainian names. Not Russian, both Russian and Ukrainian. And when I practice, my accent is much better. Now I forgot about it again. So it's okay. It's okay. So anyway, yeah, there's really a little bit of difference between Ukrainian and Russian. that's really different. And also interesting about the Ukrainians is that Ukrainian language is that in Russian this Gorodovka. In Ukrainian, it's literally really pronounced as H. It's not pronounced as G. It's Horodivka. Horodivka. And yeah, Novo Horodivka. I don't know how to pronounce it again. Yeah, I'll go and practice more so that I can pronounce it more accurately, like Novo Zelane. So yeah, and Horivka is correct. They really pronounce it Horivka. So yeah, I'm surprised that it's really pronounced H. No wonder the English word they write H. So it's not G for the Russian speakers. In Ukrainian it's really H. So anyway, yeah, this I know you guys not interested. So anyway, check out the reports. This the frontline changes report if you want to, or the KURSK update. And I'll see you guys in the next update. Horodivka.